All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into Apollo Hospitals Q3 performance. Got their financials, press release, the whole shebang. But don't worry, we're cutting through the noise, getting to the good stuff, the insights that'll make you go, interesting.
Yeah, I think what really jumps out is this expansion they've got planned. They're adding, get this, 3,512 beds over the next few years, starting in FY26. I mean, that's a huge G undertaking.
It really is. It makes you think, why so aggressive? Are they just seeing massive demand, or are they betting on some big shift in how healthcare is delivered, maybe more specialized care or something like that?
That's a great question. It definitely signals like huge confidence in the future of Indian healthcare, but it does make you wonder, I mean, could growing too fast actually hurt the quality of care? Will they even be able to find enough qualified staff to manage all these new patients?
Right, right. Well, let's look at the numbers for a sec. Revenue's up 14% year on year. That's 55,269 million. EBITDA also up a healthy 24% to 7,650 million. So on the surface, things are looking pretty good. But is this sustainable? Is there something fundamentally strong about their model, or are they just riding a wave here?
Well, I think to answer that, we got to go deeper than the headlines, right? Look at the segment breakdown. And what's interesting is it's their healthcare services division, their HCS, that's really driving things. 13% year-on-year revenue growth there.
And it's not just hospitals, right? I mean, they're going all in on pharmacies too. Added a crazy 132 new stores just this quarter. It's all part of their omni-channel push, blending physical locations with their digital platform, the Apollo 247.
Yeah, that omni-channel approach it's smart. They're capturing a wider market that way, right?
Yeah.
Catering to both those who want that in-person experience and the ones who prefer the convenience of digital healthcare.
Speaking of digital, their Apollo Health division that handles all that, the digital health and pharmacy distribution, they actually swung to profitability. Remember last year they were reporting a loss, and now, boom, 321 million profit after tax. Quite a turnaround.
Yeah, it shows how important that diversification strategy is, right? It's not just about hospitals anymore. They're building this whole healthcare ecosystem, catering to all sorts of needs and preferences.
Absolutely. But, while the numbers are impressive, what really got me excited was seeing how committed they are to clinical excellence. It's one thing to grow financially, but to actually push the boundaries of medical care, that's something
Oh,
else.
totally. They're not just building more, they're building better. Like, take their Chennai hospital. They've done over 500 robotic cardiac surgeries. 500. That's a huge milestone. And I'm curious, how does that compare to other hospitals, regionally, globally? Are they really leading the pack in this robotic surgery thing?
Yeah, they seem to be. But it's not just the robots. They also talked about a case in Bangalore where they did a robotic knee replacement on a 17-year-old. 17. Youngest reported case globally.
Wow.
Now, that's not just impressive, that's groundbreaking. Makes you wonder, how willing are they to take on these complex cases, to
Yeah.
push the limits of what's possible?
It shows they're not afraid to innovate, to embrace these cutting edge technologies. I mean, they're not just keeping up with the advancements, they're actively driving them. And it's not just one specialty either. Their Hyderabad hospital, they did a record 25 asleep deep brain stimulation surgeries in just 24 days. I mean, that dedication to these pioneering techniques, it's
Yeah,
really
it
something.
really is. It seems that they're really walking the walk when it comes to advancing healthcare. But it does make you wonder, how are they funding all this? Are these cutting-edge procedures, are they financially viable, or is it more about pushing boundaries, less about the bottom line?
That's a good point. It's often a tough balance, right? Pushing the boundaries of medicine while staying financially sustainable. Let's see if we can find any clues in their strategic partnership.
Oh, yeah. Their partnership with Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
It's not just software. They're investing heavily in AI, digital innovation. Think about it. Disease prediction, personalized medicine, using genomics. It's like science fiction becoming reality, right?
Exactly. It goes way beyond traditional healthcare. They're looking to leverage technology to completely transform healthcare, how it's delivered, how it's experienced. It's a long-term vision that could really shake things up in the whole industry.
And it's not just India. They've signed an MOU with the Mayapada Healthcare Group in Indonesia too. So clearly they're taking this expertise global, aiming to transform healthcare in Southeast Asia as well.
Global expansion, that's a bold move. Are they
Oh.
are they trying to become the next big multinational healthcare giant, you think? And if so, how will they deal with the complexities of different healthcare systems, different cultures.
These are all great questions,
Yeah.
and we'll definitely need to dig into those a bit more. But before we do, there's one more initiative that really caught my attention. Their Unify to Notify campaign.
Ah, yes. This is where things get really interesting. They're pushing for cancer to be classified as a notifiable disease. A bold move for sure. Potentially huge implications for public health policy.
So break it down for our listeners. What does that actually mean?
Well, imagine a system where healthcare providers are legally required to report every cancer diagnosis to public health authorities. That's essentially what notifiable disease status would mean.
Okay. Okay, I see. And what's the thinking behind that? What are the potential benefits or drawbacks, I guess?
The idea is by collecting all this data on cancer, you can really understand disease patterns, identify high-risk groups, develop better prevention strategies. It could lead to earlier detection and ultimately better outcomes for patients.
That sounds promising, but are there any downsides? Things to be cautious about?
Of course,
Yeah.
anytime you're dealing with sensitive health data, privacy is a huge concern. And there's the potential for stigma, right? Imagine the societal impact if a cancer diagnosis becomes public knowledge, plus just the logistics of implementing a system like this effectively. It would take enormous resources, coordination across so many different players.
Yeah, it sounds really complex, a lot of layers to unpack, but it is commendable that they're taking a stand, pushing for this change, even if it does raise a lot of questions. What are your initial thoughts? Do you think the potential benefits outweigh the risks?
It's hard to say definitively without really analyzing all the factors, but it's definitely a fascinating development. Deserves more exploration, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a great example of how a company like Apollo can use their platform to advocate for change, to really shape the future of healthcare. This deep dive is already proving to be quite thought-provoking.
It is, and we've only just scratched the surface.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Apollo Hospitals Q3 performance.
Mhm.
We've already uncovered some fascinating insights about their expansion plans, financial health, and commitment to pushing the boundaries of medical care. Now let's zoom in and explore some of the specifics that really jumped out from their reports.
One area that's particularly interesting is the breakdown of regional performance within their healthcare services segment. It gives us a glimpse into how different regions are contributing to Apollo's overall growth story.
Yeah, like in Tamil Nadu, their stronghold, revenues grew by a solid 8%. But what I found interesting was their average revenue per operating bed, or ARPOB, that jumped up by 11%. Now, I know healthcare jargon can be a bit much, but ARPOB basically tells us how much revenue each hospital bed generates.
It's a key indicator of efficiency profitability, right? A higher ARPOB means they're getting more out of each bed, which is a good sign for their operational efficiency.
Exactly. And it's not just Tamil Nadu. Their AP Telangana region saw a even more impressive 24% revenue growth, fueled by a 15% increase in inpatient volumes. Plus, their ARPOB in that region also went up by 9%, reaching over $63,000 per bed. So clearly there's a lot of momentum in that market.
Yeah, it seems like they're really capitalizing on the rising demand for quality healthcare in those regions. And remember, they have those ambitious plans to add a lot more beds in the coming years. So it suggests they're pretty confident in their ability to keep attracting patients and filling those beds.
Now, shifting gears a bit, I wanted to talk about some of their clinical achievements. I was really impressed by the story of a 60-year-old man in Kolkata. He had this rare, complex kidney condition.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was a remarkable case. The patient had a malignant tumor in what's called a cross-fused ectopic kidney. It's incredibly challenging to treat, but
Yeah.
but Apollo Kolkata, they successfully performed the surgery, and they did it using robotic-assisted technology, first surgery of its kind in India, actually.
Incredible. But it makes me think, is this just a one-off success story, or are they consistently delivering this level of cutting-edge care?
That's a valid question, but when you look at their track record, it does seem like they have this pattern of embracing these innovative techniques. I mean, remember their Chennai hospital hitting that 500 robotic cardiac surgeries milestone. It really shows a commitment to minimally invasive procedures, which often means faster recovery times, fewer complications for patients.
Right, right. And they're not just focused on surgical advancements either. They also performed India's first implantation using the new generation Allegra transcatheter aortic valve implantation system. TVI for short. This
Yeah.
procedure, it offers a less invasive alternative to open heart surgery for patients with aortic valve disease.
Yeah, these examples really showcase their dedication to offering the latest advancements in medical care. Even if those advancements are relatively new or complex, it suggests they're not content with just, providing the standard treatments. They're constantly striving to be at the forefront of medical innovation.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see a company not just talking the talk, but actually walking the walk, when it
Yeah.
comes to advancing healthcare. It makes you wonder, where will this drive for innovation take them next? What other groundbreaking procedures or treatments might they pioneer in the future?
It's exciting to think about the possibilities, and it's not just about high-tech surgeries either. They're also focused on addressing a wider range of healthcare needs. Like, remember the femrejuvenate therapy they launched in a Metabot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great example of how they're approaching healthcare holistically, right? It's not always about life-saving surgeries. Sometimes it's about improving quality of life and addressing issues that might not always get the attention they deserve.
Exactly. And they're not just focusing on treatment either. They're actively promoting preventative care and community engagement. The press release mentioned a Petal Pink cyclothon in Tier Valor to raise awareness about breast cancer.
That's great to see them stepping outside the hospital walls and engaging with the community in such a positive, proactive way. It shows they're not just a business, they're a partner in building a healthier society.
Yeah, and this commitment to public health, it aligns perfectly with their Unify to Notify campaign, which we discussed earlier. It shows they're willing to take a stand on important issues and advocate for broader systemic change.
Now let's switch gears a bit and dive into Apollo Health Co. Their digital health and pharmacy distribution arm. They're making some serious waves in this space, reporting a 15% year-on-year revenue growth, hitting 23,524 million.
What's even more impressive is their rapid journey to profitability. I mean, just last year they were reporting losses, and now they're generating significant profits. It's a testament to the effectiveness of their strategy, combining online and offline channels to reach a wider customer base.
Yeah, they've managed to strike a balance between the convenience of online services and the accessibility of a vast network of over 6,360 physical stores across India.
Yeah.
And they're not slowing down either. They added 132 new stores just this quarter. That's incredible growth.
It highlights the power of their omni-channel approach, right? They're meeting customers where they are, whether it's online, through their app, at their local pharmacy, or even through telehealth consultations.
It's truly becoming a one-stop shop for all things healthcare.
Yeah.
And they're processing a staggering 75,000 orders per day across their platform. That's a significant jump from 61,000 orders per day in the same quarter last year.
Those are some impressive numbers. They're definitely gaining market share, establishing themselves as a major player in the digital healthcare space. It makes you wonder, how are their competitors responding to this rapid growth? Are they scrambling to catch up, or
Yeah.
or are they focusing on different niches within the digital health landscape?
Now let's turn our attention to another key segment, Apollo Health and Lifestyle Limited, or AHLL. This is their diagnostics and retail healthcare arm.
Hmm.
And it's also showing strong growth with a 15% year-on-year revenue increase, reaching 3,895 million.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how they're expanding their footprint in this market. They highlighted the performance of their diagnostics business, which generated below 1,212 million in revenue,
Yeah.
and their Spectra brand, which brought in 681 million.
Right, Spectra, that's their chain of multi-specialty clinics, right?
Okay.
Offering a wide range of services from general consultations to specialized treatments, all under one roof.
It's a smart strategy to make healthcare more accessible, more affordable for a wider population. By providing a variety of services in one location, they're simplifying the patient experience and potentially attracting new customers who might not have considered Apollo for specialized care in the past.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from regional performance and clinical milestones to digital health advancements and the growth of their diagnostics and retail healthcare businesses. But before we move on, I wanted to highlight one more one more intriguing detail that caught my eye. Remember those financial statements? They mentioned an interesting acquisition made by Apollo Health Co.
You're talking about Searchlight Health Private Limited, right? What makes this acquisition particularly interesting is that it was a slump sale,
Yep.
meaning they acquired the entire business, software, assets, liabilities, the whole shebang for a lump sum of 67.5 million.
And what exactly does Searchlight Health do? What's the strategic rationale behind this acquisition?
Well, Searchlight Health, they specialize in healthcare software. Things like electronic health records, data analytics, and clinical cloud solutions. In other words, they're experts in the technology that underpins, modern healthcare operations.
So it seems like a strategic move to strengthen their digital capabilities even further. But is this technology truly cutting edge, or is it more about acquiring a competitor and consolidating their market position?
It's probably a bit of both, to be honest. On one hand, it allows them to integrate Searchlight's technology into their existing platform, potentially enhancing their data analytics capabilities, improving patient care coordination, and streamlining their operations. On the other hand, it also eliminates a potential competitor and gives them access to Searchlight's existing customer base. It's a savvy business move that strengthens their position in the rapidly evolving digital healthcare landscape.
Yeah, yeah. This acquisition raises some interesting questions, though. Like, how smoothly will they integrate this new technology into their existing systems? What kind of challenges might they face, and what new services or features might they develop as a result?
Those are excellent questions, and they highlight how this deep dive is about more than just understanding Apollo's current performance, right? It's also about anticipating what the future might hold for them and for the healthcare industry as a whole.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Apollo Hospitals Q3 performance. We've explored their financial strength, those ambitious expansion plans, their commitment to cutting-edge medical care. But now let's try to tie it all together. Think about what it means for the future of healthcare.
One thing that really stands out to me is how Apollo recognizes that technology alone isn't enough. They're also investing heavily in training, education for their staff.
Oh yeah, right. They mentioned the partnership with the University of Leicester in the UK. What was the thinking behind that?
So they're working together to create these specialized training programs for healthcare professionals, focusing on cutting edge areas, robotic surgery, advanced cardiac care, critical care nursing. It's a pretty forward thinking approach.
Yeah, it's like they're building this whole ecosystem for innovation, right?
Yeah.
They're not just adopting new technologies. They're making sure their staff actually have the skills to use them effectively.
Exactly. Technology is only as good as the people using it, right?
Yeah.
By giving these healthcare professionals the latest knowledge, the skills, they're maximizing the potential of these advancements to really improve patient outcomes. But it does make you wonder, will this create a new standard for healthcare professionals in India? Will other hospitals have to step up their training programs to stay competitive?
Interesting point. And this commitment to training, it's not limited to India, right? It's part of their global outreach strategy, which also includes that expansion into Southeast Asia.
Right. Their partnership with the Mayapada Healthcare Group in Indonesia is a perfect example. It's a bold move trying to become this truly global healthcare provider. But what are the potential challenges there, you think, adapting their model to different cultures, different healthcare systems?
Yeah, that's a big question. I mean, global expansion, it's not just about replicating what they've done in India, right? It's about understanding local needs, adapting to regulations, maybe even modifying their approach to care. It's a complex undertaking for sure.
Absolutely. It'll be fascinating to see how they navigate all that and how those global endeavors end up influencing their overall strategy in the long run.
Now let's circle back to their Unify to Notify campaign for a second. It's a bold initiative, one that could really spark some serious debate about about public health policy.
Yeah, classifying cancer as a notifiable disease, that's a complex issue. Lots of potential benefits, but challenges too. I mean, on the one hand, it could lead to better data collection, earlier detection, more targeted prevention. But on the other hand, there are those concerns about privacy, potential stigma, and just the resources it would take to actually implement a system like that effectively.
It does raise a lot of ethical and logistical questions, like how do you ensure privacy, confidentiality of patient data? How do you prevent discrimination based on a cancer diagnosis? And how do you even build a system that's robust enough to handle all that data, all the reporting requirements? These are crucial questions, ones that need to be thoroughly addressed before implementing something like this. But even just raising the issue, bringing it to the forefront of public discourse, that's a positive step in itself. It,
Yeah.
it forces us to confront these complex issues and think about the potential impact of such a significant change.
It's a great example of how a company can use their platform to advocate for change, to really stimulate these important conversations about public health. Whether or not the campaign succeeds, it's sparking a dialogue that could lead to better solutions for cancer prevention and care.
Absolutely. It highlights the interconnectedness of individual health, corporate responsibility, and broader social impact, right? It's not just about treating patients, it's about creating a healthier society for everyone.
So we've explored a lot, haven't we? Apollo Hospitals Q3 performance, the financial success, the clinical innovations, the strategic partnerships, their commitment to social responsibility. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
I'm all ears.
We've seen how Apollo is pushing the boundaries of healthcare in so many ways, but the real question is what does this all mean for you, the listener? How will these trends, the rise of digital health, the focus on personalized medicine, the increasing role of technology in care delivery, how will all this shape your own healthcare journey in the years to come?
That's a great question. It encourages us to connect these broader trends to our own personal experiences and think about how they might impact our own health, our own well-being.
Exactly. We've provided the information, the insights, the questions. Now it's your turn to reflect, to explore further, to imagine the possibilities. What kind of healthcare future do you envision for yourself?
Knowledge is most powerful when it's understood and applied.
So take what you've learned from this deep dive. Stay curious and engage with this ever evolving world of healthcare. Your health, your well-being, they depend on it.
Until next time, stay healthy and stay informed.